You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Good morning. Welcome to Starbucs, home with the best Pirates content before 5 a.m. Pacific time. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, Jim Rosati. Jim, happy Wednesday. Happy another Pirates loss. I don't know what to tell you here, but good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, luckily it was the West Coast, and Will Crowe took 3 hours to get through 4 innings, so I didn't have to witness the end of that loss. When I went to bed, it was 2-2. So let's just, in my mind, it was 2-2.
That works for me. I went to bed as well. I was actually shocked. I mean, I think both of us usually stay up pretty late, so I was not feeling well last night. Starting to get a headache. I was just tired, and I was like, I'm not fighting this. Let me just go to bed. I can trust Jim will be up anyways to finish the game. And then I find out you went to bed too. So
yeah, I don't know what it was. Will Crowe, he went through those first 2 innings, right? He went scoreless first 2 innings, but he threw 145 pitches. And it just took forever. And then typically I'm up until 1 o'clock's usually not an issue for me.
Right.
But yeah, that fifth inning, the top of the fifth inning ended. It was 2-2. Cody Ponce was about to come in, and I was just like, I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Right.
So I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, last night was quite different than the night before. I felt like the night before, which was Brault's start, it was going pretty quick. It was a quick-paced game. All these outs, no one was getting on base. Mm-hmm. And then last night, like you mentioned, Will Crowe was starting, so it was such a typical Will Crowe start as well. I just can't get over this dude. Yeah. It's his stat line is always 4 to 5 innings, 2 earned runs. He didn't give up homers though. I was shocked, and I even tweeted the very first inning right after the first hit when Trey Turner took that left field. I just felt. This is first off, it's the Dodgers lineup. I know Mookie Betts isn't starting, right? He's not there right now. He's on the IL, but still, it's the Dodgers lineup. It's Will Crowe. I wanted to set the over and under at 2.5 home runs, like dead serious, because that's Will Crowe's MO. He's going to give up 2 to 3 earned runs off of 2 to 3 home runs. Didn't happen quite that way, but yeah, 2 earned runs and I think 5 innings.
4 innings. So
it was still just 4.
He just went to 4.
Very typical Will Crowe.
Well, the first inning, he gave up a leadoff double to Turner, then walked Seager, and then I was like, oh boy, here we go.
But Seager also roped one. I think it went foul, just foul.
Yeah. So it was first and second, nobody out. Then you got Will Smith, Bellinger, Pollock coming up, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be bad. But then he gets Will Smith to fly out. Bellinger struck out Pollock. He was dancing around base runners those first couple innings. Then finally it did get to him in the third when he gave up 2 runs. But he was again typical Will Crowe start. 4 innings, 2 runs. It's not awful, but it's not really good at any way whatsoever. He couldn't even get to the 5th.
And again, that's why I am over the Will Crowe thing. All the stuff he talked about, though, was all the stuff and reasons why I was very intrigued by him. Even last night when you look, it was Jekyll and Hyde throughout a lot of it. There's times that he gets up there and he just looks so good. The pitches he throws, he's striking guys out. He looks good. And then he gives up these meatballs and there's a home run here, home run there, and he looks awful. And I feel like that's every start. There's just moments where he comes out and just looks like a real dude, and then he comes out just no, let's get out of here. But then you look at the overall stats, and you're right. In theory, right, 2 earned runs and 4 innings pitched isn't terrible, but the problem is it's always 4 innings pitched. It's always 4 innings pitched with him. 85 pitches, 4 innings pitched, and he's out. So yeah, like I'm not looking for Will Crowe to be in the starter. I'm done with him at my intrigueness. But you're right. Like it just there's times he looks like a very very capable pitcher and a very very bad pitcher all in the same outing.
Yeah, I mean, he had that stretch in May where, I mean, he had 4 straight games where he went at least 5 innings, back in May. But really, since then, I feel like it's just like consistently
But
4.
we're talking about 5 innings. Like that was, you know what
No,
I
no,
mean?
no. Yeah, and I mean, and then, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely no longer hopeful that Will Crowe is a starting pitcher. Like he's not. I think I think he definitely has the stuff where he could be a relief pitcher. Like I definitely like I even think he could be like a Chris Stratton type guy where maybe you put him in to pitch 1 or 2 innings, right? Maybe not as good as Stratton.
An Underwood type of guy.
Yeah. So I mean he's one of those types of guys, but definitely not a starting pitcher on any team that should have any semblance of competing.
True.
So.
Well, then let's talk about the opposite potentially. Let's talk about Steven Brault, who's come off the IL, who's pitched 3 games so far for the Pirates, and I mean the results are definitely there. And it's only 14.2 innings, but of course he's going to get stretched out, right? 1.84 ERA. He shut down the Dodgers. I mean, let's talk about that. Like, also, I mean, to a degree, like last night, Will Crowe, even though we're poo-pooing on, but still the Dodgers. Like, I guess the 4-2, it was against the Dodgers. That's still kind of impressive. But yeah, Steven Brault shuts down the Pirates. He went, I think, 5 1/3, right?
5 2/3. Only up
2/3.
3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Yeah, he looked great. Again, against the Dodgers lineup, so it's not like he's doing this against the Cubs or anything like the current Cubs constructed lineup.
Jeez, talk about a terrible team right now. Hey, they won last night.
They did amazingly. Thanks to Hendricks, really. It didn't really have anything to do with anything else. But
take it.
But yeah, so 5 2/3, 0 runs. I don't think you could be more thrilled with the way that Steven Brault has pitched in his 3 games back. He's exactly what this rotation's needed, especially with Tyler. Like he basically just is sliding into that Tyler Anderson role, I think, where he's at least somebody who can give you some stability and not you're not worrying about him coming out of the game in the 2nd inning and then having to use, 4 relief pitchers every night. Like I said, that first game he came out after 4, but that was because it was his first game. He's definitely getting worked up a little bit.
All right.
But yeah, I'd like to see him continue to get worked up. Like I don't think there's any reason why you need to necessarily be all that careful with him. He's still not really a part of our future plans, really. But he's definitely a refreshing addition to this rotation. They just got to give him some run support now. He's lost all 3 games, but
yeah, well,
he's pitched great.
It's the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. I'm with you. He's impressed me for sure. I think I wanted to hold everyone's expectations back a little bit. Him coming up, I was like, he was put in the best situations last year, albeit because, and this isn't his fault. He is being stretched out. So, like the one thing you said about is he's provided everything that this rotation's needed. To a degree, I guess the other thing he hasn't truly provided is the innings. But again, that's not his fault. That's him getting repped up. Probably going forward, he will be providing that, and now he'll have everything that this rotation has been needing. But he has pitched great so far. I guess I'm intrigued to find out what he's going to do the rest of this year. Because you are correct, he's not going to be the future. I think at this point in time, he's just another guy that's going to be a potential trade chip. Just is what it is. So I guess how he finishes this year might help decide and see that. Like I don't know if he gets traded in the offseason or next deadline. I probably would assume next deadline, just because this team needs arms to a degree. But yeah, like I'm semi intrigued about Steven Brault because he is pitching pretty well right now. See how he finishes, but Yeah, I mean, shutting down the Dodgers. I mean, just 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 1.84 ERA on the year so far. Pretty solid. Hasn't hit a home run though yet, so that I'm kind of disappointed. He bunted the other day too. I was really pissed off about that. I really was. I was like, I get you're the pitcher, I get the situation, but just swing away. Please just swing away.
Yeah, what's his we need to check out his StatCast, his average exit velocity right now. See where we're at with that over under.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think Brault's been impressive really the last 2 years. He's really, I think, stepped it up as a major league pitcher. I think he's pretty much learned. I think he's learned who he is and how to get major league hitters out. He knows what he does well, and he executes those pitches. I'm not by no means is he like an ace or anything, but we're now going on, if you include last year, we're now going on, 13 starts now where the dude's got a sub-3 earned run average. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is. It's impressive. It is. I get it. And again, like, he hasn't put in better situations, but he has succeeded in that role, in that situation as well. So I mean, you got to give him credit for that, I guess. I guess I just don't trust how. I don't know, man. I don't know. I still have some reservations on him, and it's fine. It's okay. But
and I get that. Like, he doesn't have the typical stuff that you would look for in like a good starting pitcher, right? But there's more than one way to get major league hitters out. And like I said, I actually really think that he's kind of figured out his strength and how to do it.
That I can agree with. But I guess I'll put it this way. You can still, like, he's not going to have a sub-3 ERA. Like, this isn't what he is. Even though he's done.
Okay, I agree with you.
And I think that I'm not even like saying that, but I think he can be a capable pitcher. Maybe I was still a little less on him. Maybe I was still worried that like he still can't really even be a capable pitcher. Maybe he's close. See, I don't know. I feel like I'm being even harsher on him. I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's keep watching him. I'm not the biggest Steven Brault fan, but he's doing everything he needs to do right now. How's that sound?
There you go. That sounds good.
Okay.
Well, I'll accept that for now.
Perfect. I was going to say he's closer to Will Crowe than I was thinking on the pitch. Like, you know what? He's still not even that. Like, Will Crowe's not Steven Brault. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Steven Brault looked good. You know who else has looked really, really good? I just want to bring him up because I brought him up this weekend, just, throwing out numbers and stats out there. And I feel like we don't talk about him too much. And now, of course, that Rich Rod's gone. There's the closer and committee, but of course you need a win to have saves. But David Bednar has been one of the more productive, like, relief pitchers in baseball. And I feel even like in Pittsburgh, right? He comes out to renegade. I feel even in Pittsburgh, he's doing that quite quietly. So let's give, I think, David Bednar. I could eat some bread right now. David Bednar some love right now. He's doing really, really, really well. There was a lot of hype around him, a lot of love, I think, in spring training. Really, all that one curveball he threw. Like, that's what I think started all. He threw this one curveball that just looked incredible, and everyone, including myself, was like, okay, who's David Bednar? And I want to see more of him. And then since then, he's really been consistent too. I think he might have had like one little stretch in the beginning of the year where he gave up some runs, thinking, okay, maybe he's just a guy. But like, he's consistently gone out there, done his job. He did it last night as well. He's looked good. He looks good.
No, I'm glad you brought him up. He looks really good. His ERA is now down to a 2.61. We're not talking about a guy who is like being used on a limited basis too. Like, he's now being used quite often. He's at, 48 innings pitched on the season.
50 games, 48.1 innings.
Yeah. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning. The walk rate has been excellent. I mean, the guy throws strikes. He's only walked one batter this month. He struck out 10 to kind of give you an idea just kind of where he's at there. No, I agree. You can't be more happy about this guy. He gave up one run in the entire month of July. All right. So I think that's kind of like where he like really turned it on. He had a 0.82 earned run average in July. His ERA on the year dropped from 3.48 down to 2.85. So really, really good month for him. He went, let's see, 10 straight appearances without giving up a run. And yeah, he's good. I mean, there's really no way to put it. Like he is a good reliever. The Pirates got a good one with David Bednar. I was a little skeptical, when they got him because his previous numbers when he was given some chances weren't that great. But man, I don't know how you could be more happy with this guy. Like this is a future closer, I think. Like this is your next closer, and he's under team control for another 5 years after this. So they found a good one in this one. This is a good guy they got for Musgrove.
I agree. There's a lot of things that I like. I guess the one downfall, the team sucks. Like it's not his fault. Like
right.
I wanted to see him, especially after the trade. Like you were expecting him to come in and hopefully step in like that Rich Rod role and maybe take over higher leverage situations, right? Some save duties. But the team hasn't been in the situation to allow him to do that. So he's still like he was more or less like the 7th inning guy, for a little bit, 6th inning guy, whatever. Wasn't too high up there on the pecking order, but he succeeded. He was given some I guess higher leverage roles throughout the season, as a reward or such. And then again, like Rich Rod gone, I just felt like, okay, here's the time. Like let's see what we got in Bednar. Let's put him in there. But he hasn't had that opportunity because the Pirates don't win. So I guess that's the one downfall. Like I would love to see him like in these pressure moments and how he handles, because like you said, everything on here looks like closer. Let's see how he does in that role. I don't know yet. Unfortunately, we might end this year and still go into next year thinking like, I hope David Bednar's a closer, but I have no idea because the Pirates won 4 games since the trade deadline and we couldn't find out. So, but yeah, like I really do like what I see from Bednar. I mean, the one thing that's the reason why there was some of this love early on was because in spring training, we saw this stuff. And this stuff looks sick. And it's translated quite well so far. This isn't like, Kevin Newman had 750 in spring training and he turned into the pumpkin. Like he has actually done really, really well. And like you said, like he's really turned it on late as well. David Bednar I'm with you, man. Like this is a guy who you can look down and say, you're part of this future. One of the few on this club.
Yeah, absolutely. To your point, the Pirates haven't even had a save opportunity since they traded Richard Rodriguez. They haven't even had the opportunity to designate somebody their closer or give them a save chance.
Right.
That's what's kind of crazy. Yeah. Pirates' last save was on July 23rd, and that was Richard Rodriguez.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, also holding batters to a 195 batting average. Like that's the thing to say. Like he's guy's good. This guy's good.
And like home run rates down. Like he doesn't give up, a ton of home runs. He's given up 5 on the year, so that's fine. And I said the walks is what I really like. Anytime that's the one thing with relief pitchers. I feel like anytime you put a relief pitcher in, you're looking at somebody who's like a 5 or 6, walks per 9 rate, and it's like, can we get somebody with some control? And his is below 3 per 9 innings. So yeah, a lot to like about him. The stuff's good, and it clearly plays. I mean, people, as you mentioned with the batting average, hitters obviously aren't hitting it very well.
Right. Yeah. So I guess some of the highlights so far is Brault pitching, and then again Bednar has been He's been really, really good. It's funny. Like I want to see Bednar in these situations, right? But now, maybe kind of talk a little about this. So now, because the Pirates haven't had a save opportunity, like you said, because they're terrible and they keep losing, I think we figured like this possibility was gone. Like I really haven't thought about it truly. But the Diamondbacks were winning. The Diamondbacks won again last night. The Pirates haven't been winning. There's this gap that's closing in, Jim, on this number 1 overall pick. And again, like I just felt like out of mind, out of sight, the Diamondbacks have it locked up. Pirates will be in top 3. Cool. But at this rate, the rate the Pirates are playing, I don't know, man. Like, do the Pirates really have this possibility of the number 1 overall pick next year? And I'm not saying this is good, bad. I don't think about however you think about that right now. But as things stand, the way the Pirates are playing, is the number 1 pick truly in play, do you feel right now?
If you would have asked me this question, I mean, I think we even talked about this like a week ago. I was like, no, it's not possible. But they have made up a lot of ground. Like you mentioned, the Diamondbacks. I mean, the Diamondbacks have won 5 of their last 10, right? So
Yeah.
if the Diamondbacks are winning 5 of 10 and the Pirates are losing
1 of
9
10.
of 10 and they're winning 1 of 10,
Yeah.
that means they just gained 4 games over this course of a 10-game stretch. The Pirates are now 3 games out of the first overall pick. So this recent slide that the Pirates have been on ever since really they traded away everybody, they have essentially been, I mean, since the trade deadline, the Pirates are, God, let's actually look it up here. Since the trade deadline, the Pirates have won 2 games. 3 games if you count the first. Okay, so Saturday against the Phillies. So they've won 3. They've lost 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they've lost 3. They've won 3. They've lost 15. So we're looking at a 167 winning percentage over the course of 162 games. That's 27 and 145. 135. So yeah, they're bad. I think the team to worry about now isn't even the Diamondbacks anymore. I think it's the Orioles. The Orioles have lost basically every game they're on a 13-game losing streak. The Baltimore Orioles are. So I think if anybody, that's the team to kind of look at. They're really, really bad. They did finally, again, they passed up Texas. So they're sitting, if the season were to end today, it'd be 3rd overall pick. Yeah, I think 1st overall is definitely in play, especially if they keep up this 167 winning percentage, which honestly, I think they might. It's hard. Like everything, when the Pirates win a game, almost everything has to go perfect for them to win a game.
Right.
And that's just hard to do at this point.
It's the unfortunate thing, but you are right, and we're seeing it firsthand. This isn't just us trying to totally be facetious and whatnot. I mean, you are seeing it. This is a very bad team. Part of the reason why you picked your, 54 win this year was because you said after the trade deadline it's going to get bad, and I said, well, yeah, I get that. That's why I'm picking mine as well. I expect them to be worse. But I just was not expecting this bad. And all right, Jim, you're right. It's that bad. It's pathetic right now. And I wanted to bring this up because it's not as if I think this is something that should be celebrated, right? That the Pirates could potentially get the number 1 overall pick right now. But as things stand and as it is right now, and of course with the, I guess, help, if you want to say it, right? Because the Diamondbacks have been winning. I mean, it's their number 1 pick to lose. And if you look last night, they actually made a transaction. They added an Elijah Green to their minor league. So they must figure it's not going to happen. So let's just bring in Elijah Green to our system so that way we can celebrate that. it is what it is. This team's bad, and I think there is a really good chance right now, which I did not think a week ago, like you mentioned, that this team can have the number one overall pick once again because of all the reasons you said. I mean, this offense is pretty pathetic right now. I mean, we're seeing it and as well as we talked about Park and how well Park's got his struggles going on. Like Castro has all his struggles going on. We're playing like Rule 5 DFA guys. That tandem again. It's like if it's not Reynolds and Hayes, who Hayes is now starting to kind of quietly catch fire again. That's it. Like that's all this lineup is those two guys. And if it's not them, which it was last night, right, driving in the runs, then there's no offense. And the pitching already has been pretty bad, and it's getting much worse. This is a real struggle, man.
Yeah, and again, going back to like everything needs to be perfect to win. I mean, look at the game from Tuesday that Dodgers game on Tuesday. You had a great start from Brault, right? So, but you need more than that. Like
you needed to tag up on third base.
yeah, right. So you needed to do all of these things, and they're not doing it right now. They're just not. I mean, they're a really, really bad team. And I think you're starting to see the bullpen deteriorate a little bit. I mean, we've been seeing that for a month now.
Yeah, but
it's
still,
just the bullpen.
Even Stratton, as well as we praise Stratton, could he be the best pitcher on this team to get traded at the deadline because of how well he was doing? Like he's falling apart even as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, really at this point, like you said it, Hayes and Reynolds, like almost the only reasons to even tune in and watch this team right now. There's a couple guys where it's like, okay, let's see what Hoy Park has. Let's watch Rodolfo Castro. But when it comes to like major league caliber players that you actually want to watch, it's Hayes and Reynolds, and like that's it. And Ben Gamel's having a good year, but like Ben Gamel's not gonna like make anybody turn TVs on.
He's having a good year for Ben Gamel. Like he was a guy who was just released, right? Anyone could have him.
Yeah.
The Pirates took him up. So like for that type of a player, yes, he is having a good year. But
yeah, he's doing fine. But yeah, I mean, Hayes and Reynolds is really the only reason to watch games at this point. And like you mentioned, Hayes is kind of turning it around a little bit. I'd like to see him kind of go on a surge here to end the year. His defense is awesome too. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I know we talk about it a lot, but it's like, it seems like every night he makes a play and it's just like, wow, like most third basemen can't do that. He had another one. He had another one last night, and that's fun to see. Yeah, outside of those two, it's just not. It's not good.
You know what? You're so right about that with Hayes. I don't think we talk about that enough either, and I think it just is because of what it is, and that's what everyone talks about with Hayes. Like, he's just so smooth. He makes everything look so good and easy, so therefore it doesn't look as spectacular. Like when Brian Reynolds is diving in center field, right, to make this play, everyone gives him props. Like, oh my God, this was so good. But the issue is Reynolds had to dive. Like, theoretically, what Hayes is doing is he's just walking up to it and just catching it. And you think, oh, it's just a routine play. But, where Reynolds would have to dive for that play, Hayes is doing the same type of things, but he's just catching it just all nonchalant. And you're like, oh, okay, Hayes made a play at third base. No big deal. But he's literally a vacuum cleaner. And, right, the plays he makes is just, it's wild. Even last night, like the one he was, I think he thought Gamel had it, right? Like they said on the broadcast even too. Like he looked and like Gamel didn't have it. And he's like, all right, I got this. And he just ran out like into the right field, like almost right in the fence there, right? And just caught the ball, just all nonchalantly. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he can't say enough about his defense, and He's already there where, if he would have played this whole season, he would 100% be in the conversation for Gold Glove, like no doubt in my mind. So that'll be something fun going forward. It'll be fun to have somebody who's just consistently in that Gold Glove conversation. But yeah, he's like you mentioned, so smooth. Like he makes plays look easy that, if you weren't looking closely or paying attention, you may not appreciate it. But he does some amazing things over there.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. He has limited innings, right? Because he hasn't played all year. He leads MLB in defensive run saves among third basemen.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
So he's got 13 defensive runs saved in just his limited amount of times. The next guy up is Ryan McMahon. Like even Matt Chapman, it was Chapman who made that ridiculous play the other night, right? Where like he he looked like a wide receiver, like diving for the end zone pass. Like Chapman, who's known for his defense, only 7 defensive runs saved right now. Brian Hayes has doubled that in literally like half the innings, 1,022 compared to 520. So Hayes has been so good defensively this year.
Yeah, imagine where that number would be at for the full year. I mean, he'd be
he's sitting at like 20 something right now, right?
Yeah. That is incredible. I actually haven't looked at the defensive run saved in a while, but yeah, he's at 13, which is far and away more than any other third baseman. I think they were talking about it last night. Jacob Stallings leads the majors in defensive run saved, which is interesting. That'll be something that I'm actually curious on. Like, I know that like Yadier Molina always gets a lot of the love. Like, is Jacob Stallings gonna win a Gold Glove?
We'll find out.
I feel like enough people now look at the metrics, right? And if you sort catchers by defensive run saved, it's not even close, right? Like, he's clearly the best one. At least in the National League. You can make an argument for like Sean Murphy maybe in the American League, but I don't know. Like, Omar Narvaez is pretty good too. Narvaez. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, because like Yadier Molina definitely doesn't deserve a Gold Glove this year.
I don't know, man. That's going to be interesting. Like, I don't know. I guess the thing that I question is like nationally, how much respect and love is Jacob Stallings getting for that? Like, we know in Pittsburgh, right? There's been a lot of hype about the defense, the top 5 catcher in baseball. That sort of years ago, right? Defensively, which is weird because this isn't what Jacob Stallings was known for, but he worked at something, he improved it, and the results are there. His pitch framing and everything. So defensively, he's been very, very, very good. And you are correct. He leads all of baseball in defensive run saved, especially, of course, he leads in catchers. So it's like, I wonder if nationally he's now also getting that respect to get those votes. I don't know. And also because it's the Pirates, that do people really even care? But he's definitely deserving of it if he does.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that goes, because I think like there's a lot of talk about Brian Reynolds and Gold Glove and all this, and it's like the metrics don't agree with that. Like, I know we see him, he's good out there, but he's not a Gold Glove center fielder. Like, I think you have to kind of remember who plays center field typically on most teams, and it's like the best defender on the team. So there are a lot of good defensive center fielders out there. But yeah, I think Stallings has a legit shot. It's just, I wonder how that'll go. I could see Real Muto getting it maybe, just because he's the bigger name, and he's also good. Yes, I don't know. I think that's actually going to be like a storyline at the end of the year to watch. There's not going to be very many, but that'll be one.
Yeah, it's going to be funny, I think. So the Pirates, right? They're the lineup that are going to have the worst record in baseball. They're going to be lined up in the second time having the number 1 overall pick, back-to-back years. And then they're going to have a guy in MVP conversations, right? 2 Gold Glove finalists. Like, you're going to look down, like, how are they getting like these awards and like recognition? And then there's the worst team in baseball. But like, that's funny, right? That's the 2021 Pirates. And think about before the trade deadline, like, they had Adam Fraser. Like, this is a team that had 2 guys start in the All-Star game, right? And we're talking about people that were deserving of the Gold Glove. This closure waiting in Bednar, like all that stuff, and also they're the worst team in baseball.
It is kind of amazing, yeah. Because you got to think, Reynolds is probably in the top. I don't know if he'll end up being top 5 for NL MVP, but he'll be top 10, right? Like he'll be on the sheet. He'll be getting
top
votes.
5 could be close.
I think top 5 could happen. I just don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna like, when they release the list and it's gonna say Fernando Tatis is the NL MVP. Here is who finished the rest of the way.
Stop.
Like, he will be on that list.
Stop
like,
getting those facts in the way.
Yeah, the NL MVP race is over, in my opinion. Like, it's not even a race anymore. But yeah, Reynolds, you're right. Like, this team's going to be really bad, and they're going to be like historically bad these last few weeks. I have a feeling, and you're going to have Reynolds, who just keeps chopping away. He's going to hit 310, 315, and it'd be cool to see his on base percentage get a little closer to 400.
Yeah.
I know I'm like nitpicking here, but geez, like,
to have a 3-4-5 season.
Unbelievable season. Yeah, the 300, 400, 500 season would be incredible. I don't know if he can get there at this point. He's got a lot of plate appearances, but yeah, geez, coming off of last year, right? Because we were optimistic that wasn't Brian Reynolds, right? Just based off of his rookie year and like who he's been in the minor leagues. I think we were like, we don't think that's him. But like, you're lying to yourself if there wasn't a little bit of, just caution in your head to be like, oh man, what if Brian Reynolds like is bad? But he's definitely proven this year that he is not bad.
Well, let's put it this way. Both scenarios played out this year. So I guess let's just be thankful it went to where it went, right? That Reynolds was good and it was Newman that wasn't good. Because Reynolds' ceiling, as we can see, is really, really good. It's really, really high, and he can be a very productive player. Like, I feel like if Reynolds was bad and it was Newman, we're talking about like, oh, Newman's good. We're looking at still Newman being like, well, yeah, he's like a 3-WAR player. Like, okay, that was just a bad year for Kevin Newman. Look at him now; he's batting 300. He's getting on base at 350. He's now carrying a 2.5 WAR. So I'm glad it was Reynolds that played out that way.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Yeah, like if Newman would have just like gone back to his 2019 self and Reynolds would have just continued being his 2020 self, that would have been not as good. Yeah, it definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if I have too much more to say about the major leagues right now.
Yeah, I think that's.
I guess we
covered
can
pretty much all
throw in the fact that Kai Tom was reinstated and DFA'd. So was No Go. We said it wasn't last Thursday. I think the Thursday before. He's on alert. He's probably going to be gone, and it happened. So we got Yoshi. Pirates got Yoshi at first base. He played last night. Just is what it is. So I guess just another dude, right? No Go had no power. But he seemed to have like good, decent contact skills, just no power. This guy's he's got some raw power. I guess we'll see if it sticks. Next guy up.
Yeah, I guess I was a little confused on this because I don't really have much faith in Yoshi Susugo being like anything good.
And that's fair. I mean, the Dodgers didn't ignore the Rays. So
the Rays cut him loose. The Dodgers cut him loose. What more do you want there? But who knows? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. No-go definitely wasn't a long-term solution at first base by any means, or even as a bench bat. Like you mentioned, just really no power. And you can't have somebody with no power like get consistent playing time at first base in the Major League Baseball in 2021. It's just not feasible. And he wasn't good enough as a hitter, to justify, no power. Like if he was up there hitting 320, sure, but he was hitting like 220, right? It was a fun stretch, right? His first 2 weeks, his first like 2 weeks with the club was just, ridiculous. So that was fun. He at least provided some entertainment value throughout the course of the year, which hey, we need every bit of that we can get. But yeah, so Yoshi's next. I don't know how much playing time honestly he'll get, just because Moran's back healthy. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. Like he's a guy. He's just a guy. See if it sticks.
Yep.
I don't have much faith in him. But it's the worst team in baseball right now. So let's just see what happens. So there's that. Okay, so I guess we can move on. We want to go.
Yeah.
Go start talking some prospects.
Yeah, we can talk for him a little bit. Yeah.
All right, Jim. So let's talk about. I guess let's start where you want to start. I don't want to keep you waiting anymore. Go talk about your boy from Louisville.
Yeah. So Henry Davis. He got the promotion to Greensboro last week. So it was like middle of the week, so we didn't have the full week there, but played 2 games at Greensboro last week, and he did all right. His first at bat. His first at bat was
modest, Jim.
Was a triple. And he got thrown out at home trying to stretch it into a walk-off, trying to stretch it into an inside the park home run. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so far he's getting on base. He's in his 5 games that he's played, he's gotten on base every game. He hit a home run last night. Looks like it was opposite field home run last night. So that was his first homer in high A ball. I think he's at least showing that he's, he hasn't been overwhelmed by anything yet. So that's nice. I think high A is probably the right spot for him right now to finish off the year. Because I feel like that's probably maybe a little bit of a step up from ACC baseball, but that way it kind of gets him used to the everyday wood bats. He can play DH, he can catch, so he'll get his at bats there. Yeah, so far so good. Again, it's such a small sample size, but again, you would rather see somebody doing well over a small sample size than someone not, right?
Yep, that's it. Like for what we've seen, this is what you'd want to see. I mean, actually, it's probably better than I would even want to see. I mean, he's got 6 hits and only 1 single. Let's also like show that. I know the talents that he's started with was, like you said, like it's probably worse than the ACC, right? That's why you want to see. Which also, let's kind of credit too. You were all on board about like a pretty aggressive promotion, and here he is. So kudos to the Pirates, I guess, in doing so. And right, like so far, he's looking good there. Last night, a double and a home run. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was a single and a home run.
Single home run, yeah.
But yeah, so he's doing everything you want to see. So kudos to Henry Davis, the consensus #1 overall pick. And as someone on Twitter pointed out, Jack Leiter has yet to hit a home run. So clearly a bust.
Yeah. The other thing too is, how about just Greensboro in general? Like this has to be the most loaded team in minor league baseball. And like that's saying across the board. You've got the 2019 first round pick, Quinn Priester, 2020 first round pick, Nick Gonzalez, 2021 first overall pick, Henry Davis, all in the exact same spot. Like, I feel like that's something that you don't typically see. But yeah, I mean, those guys now they're all kind of lumped together, which is cool. I mean, you got to think that maybe next year they all are in Altoona, right? And you could have Priester, Gonzalez, Davis, like all debuting together in the majors. Like those three are kind of lumped together now. That they're kind of all on the same developmental path. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, I think. It's something to look forward to because if they all do what we hope they can do, which obviously isn't a guarantee, but I think all three of them, they haven't done anything to make us think that they're not at least going to be major leaguers. Yeah, and they're going to be a pretty big boost to the 2023 Pirates, right? At some point that year, I would imagine is when they'll all debut, and yeah, that'll be fun.
That's going to be kind of fun.
Looking forward to 2023. 2023 should be fun,
right? Yeah. So kudos. Yeah, that the minors are sick. Like it's just the talent that is there right now. And I'm not saying that the talent's going to all translate to the majors, but for the talent, I mean, they are in the minors, and it's ridiculous how good the minor leagues are right now. Anyways, so yeah, we'll move on. Let's talk to last year's number 1 overall pick, Nick Gonzalez, who has had his struggles, he's had injuries, but let's point out the struggles look to be well behind him right now because he is on fire. Something I want to point out: the last month. Here you go, Jim. I hope Bucko Mike's listening. The last month, Jack Wilson 2.0. The last month, Nick Gonzalez is batting .341, getting on base .412, slugging .549 with a .157 weighted run created plus. The guy is beasting now. 4 home runs, 1 triple, 5 doubles. Beasting now.
What is the what's the strikeout rate that month?
It's down 23%.
Okay. See, so that's kind of what you want to see. That when it was hovering around 30, that was a little bit of cause for concern. And I think a lot of that, hopefully a lot of that just had to do with him missing so much time and just never really getting his timing back. But yeah, I mean, looking at his last month, he's been a multi-hit machine. I feel like he's getting like 2 hits a night. He looks like the guy that we were hoping he was going to be. Like I said, it maybe took him a little bit while because of the injuries, but he's now driving the ball. He's hitting the ball. He's not striking out as much. I actually would like to see him get like 2 weeks worth of AA ball before the end of the year. I don't know if that's being too aggressive or what Sherrington wants to do, but I would like to see him in Altoona before the end of the year, and we're kind of really approaching that now. We're like 2 to 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen. The reason why I want to see it too is
sorry, I just had to say that. Close. Like it just hit me.
I know
this season's almost done.
The only thing I can think of is maybe they keep him down there because like Greensboro's going to be in the playoffs. I think I don't know how the playoffs work in this year for the minors, but I think Greensboro's in the playoffs. They're 25 games over 500. Like they're a good team. So maybe do you just let him help lead that team in the playoffs? I would rather go the developmental side and go to Altoona, but I guess I understand that if they do it. I think looking at kind of like his peers in the draft, like you look at like the other college bats that have been from that draft, and we just saw Spencer Torkelson just got promoted to AAA. I think Justin Foskew's in AA now. I could be wrong, but like those other college bats, I think they're mostly in AA, and so you would like to see him be there. Austin Martin is in AA. Yeah, Foskew's in AA. So I think just from like keeping up with his peers, I'd like to see him get some AA at bats.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of get that. I don't like to play the game of like what everyone else is doing around the league, I mean, for one,
True.
Torkelson's also a special bat. I mean, that's why he was drafted number 1.
Torkelson's different.
He's
different. Torkelson's different.
And he's tearing it up right now, too. Did he have like 7 straight hits or something like that? And they had like back-to-back games. The one day a doubleheader, I think he was like 7 for 7 in that game.
Well, against Altoona in a doubleheader, yeah, he went 7 for 7 with 3 homers.
He's been struggling right now. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. So, anyways, we'll move past that then since it was against Altoona. But yeah, like with him, like I think his a little bit more of a special case because of the injuries. Like I can understand why he's not. I'm not totally looking at it as like it's a disappointment that he's here still, where others are in Double-A. There's still some reason, but it would be kind of cool, like you said, just to give him that taste up in Double-A, start out in Double-A next year because you were hoping he would have a faster track to the majors. I mean, that's why he was drafted that high and such. So with him being back, it does. It kind of leaves you a little bit like negative, like what's going on, but it is what it is. I want to make sure that he's on the right path he needs to be. He's getting as many at bats as he can. Obviously, he missed a lot of time this year, so that affects that, but it is really, really good to see where he's at right now. Whether he finishes in Double-A or in Single A, to me, kind of is what it is. What's more important, he finishes the year strong, and if next year he starts in Double-A, that's perfect, fine. Like it is what it is. But let's hope next year he also dominates Double-A, and he's out on that path that we wanted to see.
Yeah. No, and I said I'm fine with that too. I guess just kind of looking at it, I would rather. I would like to see him get some Double-A at bats. Like I feel like that was the plan the whole time. If he hadn't gotten hurt, was obviously a mid-season or late season promotion to Double-A. And listen, I know it hasn't worked out that way because of the injuries. I mean, he still only played 55 games on the year. I mean, that's less than 2 months, basically.
Right.
But if he can show, like he's now showing the strikeouts are down, he's hitting the ball more consistently. I think it's time to at least get him like that taste of Double-A before the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with it for sure.
Okay.
I'm kind of cool either way at this point though also.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Who's next on your list?
Let's talk about Matt Fraser a little bit again too.
God.
The dude just he won't stop hitting.
He can hit.
I mean,
he can hit, Jim.
He doesn't stop hitting, and it's like everything's an extra base. Like he's slugging 628 now in Double-A. He slugged 578 in High A. The guy is like, I think he not having last year just made him completely fall off everybody's radar, right? As like a college bat taken in that 2019 draft.
And to be fair,
it
would be very. I mean, I don't think he was on anyone's radar either. That's the thing. He wasn't, and then of course last year was gone. So right, like who cares about Matt Fraser anymore?
Yeah, he came over. His 3rd round pick in 2019, college hitter. Had 171 plate appearances in 2019. Didn't hit a single home run. Like 0 home runs. And then all of a sudden this year, you see this physical specimen. I mean, and he really is. Like he's a big dude. Like when you look at like what you want your prototypical corner outfielder who can hit the ball, like he's it. 20 home runs in High A. He's got a homer in Double-A. He's just been ridiculously impressive. And if he keeps this up, like Matt Fraser's on this team next year at some point, like in the majors.
So my question for you with him, okay, because he's come completely out of nowhere. But he has, and this isn't just he's playing good, he has dominated. Do you remember back when Tyler was talking about like how long it's been since the Pirates have had like a prospect who is just completely torn up, right? The minors and come into the majors and played well. Like even when you think about like back in the Kutch, that's the thing. Like back in the Kutch years, he played well, but he was never like this. Like you never thought MVP out of him, right?
Right.
Well, Matt Fraser
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Matt Fraser's kind of doing that right now. Like Matt Fraser's having that holy shit. Like look at the season, and he was a nobody. Yep. So you're talking about Pittsburgh next year. My question to you too is, do you think this guy gets any love as far as prospect rankings go next year because of the season he's having?
So I think it depends on how you define love, right? So I talked about this a little bit last week. Like I think that 2019 college draft pick class is just not going to get a whole lot of love in general, because they get drafted as a college junior, they play short season ball, then they don't get on the field at all last year, and now all of a sudden you've got 23-year-olds in high A ball, right? 23-year-old in high A ball, typically not a prospect. I mean, that's just how it is. They could still become good major leaguers, but you kind of think about Brian Reynolds, right? Like Brian Reynolds wasn't a prospect, even though he hit the ball all throughout the minors. And what I mean by not a prospect, like he was on top 30 lists, right? Like Brian Reynolds was always in like that like 6, 7, 8 range as far as the best prospect on a Pirates. But like Brian Reynolds wasn't sniffing any top 100 lists, right? So I think that's kind of just where, like Matt Fraser's not going to be on a top 100 list anywhere, just because he's going to be going into next year as a 24-year-old, with 3 weeks, 4 weeks worth of double A ball. And I think that's just a weird phenomena that's going to happen with this year's college draft picks. Like the 2019 college draft class, those guys they missed a whole year. So it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, they don't have a choice other than to be 23, right? It's not like they're not 23 because they were held back a year or they had to repeat a level. Usually that's when you see older people, dominating minor league baseball. It's because they've been held back a year and they've had to repeat a level, right? That's not the case here. They just flat out, the whole class missed a year. So I think from a prospect love standpoint, is Matthew Fraser going to crack any top 100 lists? No, you'll see him on top 30 lists. I don't know if you'll see him really in a Pirates top 10 list, maybe at the very back end of a top 10 prospect list. And I think it just has to do with his age. And like I said, that's not a knock on him. It's just, It just is what it is,
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm guilty of that too. I mean, when we were talking about him this whole season, it was kind of the same thing. It's like, I mean, he's fantastic. Like these numbers are great, but he's also 23. So it wasn't even so much as a not like the reasons that you're 23 in that league is usually a negative thing, and it wasn't so much that. It's just, but still at the same hand, he is 23. Like he's playing against kids. He should be putting up better numbers. But what's making it nice right now is the fact that he is in Double A and he's actually doing better. Again, small sample, but theoretically he's doing better right now in Double A. So maybe there's a lot more to this kid, man, whatever you want to call him at this point, than we thought. And I don't know. I'm with you. I think he could. See, I think it's still, I don't know, man. It might be too aggressive, but I think you might be able to start seeing him in top 10 prospect rankings next year. As long as he finishes the season like this. Because this is just phenomenal what he's doing right now. And I'm liking everything about it. Like, and that's the thing too, like he doesn't strike out. He walks, he's for power. Like he's a specimen. That's what he is. He's just this specimen that came out of nowhere, but he's doing everything well. This isn't just a guy it's not like Mason Martin where he's striking out so like 33% of the time, but he's putting these monster home run. Like this guy's doing everything. He's hitting for average, he's getting on base, he's hitting for power. He's stealing bases too. He's got 15 stolen bases on the year. I don't know exactly how well he's defensively, but it is like a potential, like he's got like 5 tools, 4 potentially, this is what you're talking about here. I understand the age and he's still in the minors and we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? But this is what he is presenting right now. This isn't just like a one-trick pony. He's doing it all right now.
Yeah. Everything you just said. He's very athletic. He's got all the tools. The power was something that I just don't think any of us saw him possessing, but it's there, obviously.
You can't fake power.
No, I mean he's got the power. Yeah, I mean looking at kind of age ranges, Greensboro, he like on average he was age appropriate, right? Because a lot of these college, I mean, it's not like this was just for the Pirates. Like there's a lot of 23-year-olds in high A ball because of that exact situation. Now he's in Altoona. He's on average about 9 months younger than the average AA player right now. So, I mean, he's on track. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him, and it's really refreshing to see somebody like this just kind of pop up out of nowhere, where he wasn't on anybody's radar, and he legitimately looks like somebody who could be like an impact major league player. Like I'm not talking about just like a fourth outfielder. Like Matthew Fraser could be a starting right fielder and on a future Pirates team. Like that's what he's looking like.
Yeah.
Like he has that capability.
I mean, I think it's pretty much locked up. I mean, is this your minor league player of the year for the Pirates right now?
There's no doubt. Like there's no doubt about it. He has to be. Yeah.
And so we're saying this and talking about this farm has just completely rejuvenated. Lots of talent has come in, regardless of how you think they're going to be in the majors, right? Like they're performing in the minors. That's why we're talking about. There's a lot of good players, and it's this guy that nobody was even talking about, who's probably going to lock up the minor league player of the year, like you're saying. I think it's without a doubt also, but he looks super legit. I'm excited for Matt Fraser. And also very excited because we can rehash the meme.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, it's another Fraser. You just got to change the spelling a little bit. Change the spelling a little bit, and you're good to go.
All right. So Matt Fraser, also very, very good. What else? Anything else we wanted to highlight, talk about in the minors right now?
Let's cut it at that. We're already a little bit over our hour, but works. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. The 2021 draft picks all seem to be getting assigned. Bubba Chandler made his debut last week. Again, Davis is there. Braylon, what's his name? I don't know. But to go to your point, there's definitely like the 2021 draft picks are almost all now playing, which is good to see.
Yep. Jack Leiter, not. It's a bust.
There you go. Jack Leiter bust.
There you go. All right. We'll get out of here then. We'll see you guys Thursday night after the Pirates game. I say that. Do they play Thursday? I haven't even checked. You know what it is.
They are off on Thursday.
Okay.
Off on Thursday.
And we'll be on around 9:08, Ethan. So we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
See you guys.